Sometimes when you wake up or scroll through an endless feed of news and opinions, don't you ever just feel it? That subtle hum of unease, a constant whisper of what-ifs and anxieties that defines so much of our modern experience? We're living in a world that, on the surface, promises boundless connection, infinite knowledge, and unprecedented freedom. Yet so many of us feel more disconnected, overwhelmed, and adrift than ever before. There's a relentless current pulling us in 1,000 directions, each promising a path to happiness, security, or self-realization, but often leading only to more confusion, striving, and a deeper sense of being lost in the noise. We chase external validation, fear missing out, grapple with an ever-present feeling that we're not quite enough, or that the ground beneath us is constantly shifting in this dizzying landscape of chaos and uncertainty, where every headline screams a new reason to worry, where personal struggles feel amplified by a world that demands constant performance and unwavering positivity. I often ponder a truly profound question. What if, amidst all this relentless complexity, all this striving and searching, the ultimate truth, the most fundamental reality of existence, was something astonishingly simple? What if it was, at its core, an unwavering, boundless, unconditional love? Not a love we have to earn or one conditional on our achievements, beliefs, or even moral perfection, but a love that simply is. A love that underpins everything, a quiet, insistent presence we've perhaps forgotten how to feel or even believe in. Imagine, for a moment, a truth so profound, so comforting, that it could cut through all the static, fear, self-doubt, and simply declare a universal assurance. It's a truth distilled into one of the most remarkable and enduring statements ever uttered, a beacon of hope that has resonated across centuries. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Just let those words settle for a moment. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. It sounds deceptively simple, doesn't it? Perhaps even naive in the face of so much suffering we see around us and experience within ourselves. Yet, within this straightforward affirmation lies an ocean of profound wisdom, a radical challenge to our conventional understanding of life, suffering, and divine presence. This isn't just a feel-good platitude. It's a declaration from the very heart of existence, a deep spiritual insight that invites us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about hope, despair, and the enduring nature of love. These words didn't come from a detached philosopher or a powerful religious authority. They were spoken, or rather received, by an ordinary woman living in 14th century England, a time that makes our present anxieties seem almost tame by comparison. Julian of Norwich, a solitary mystic, experienced these profound visions during a near-death experience, during a period when the Black Death ravaged Europe, when poverty, war, and disease were constant companions, and when the religious and social fabric of society was in upheaval. Imagine her world, a place of unimaginable hardship, where the average lifespan was brutally short, and the specter of death loomed large. And yet, it was in this crucible of suffering, on the precipice of death itself, that Julian was granted a series of divine revelations, 16 showings, as she called them, that offered a vision of God radically different from the stern, judgmental deity often preached. Her experience was not an escape from reality, but a deeper dive into it, revealing a fundamental truth about God and humanity that was, and still is, revolutionary. She saw a God whose primary characteristic was not wrath or judgment, but an incomprehensible, unconditional love, a mothering love that holds all creation in its tender embrace, even and especially through suffering. Her visions weren't about escaping hardship. They were about understanding its place within a larger, benevolent design, woven with threads of absolute goodness and an unwavering promise of ultimate well-being. So, here's what I offer you today. We're going to embark on a journey together, one that spans 6 centuries, to uncover this ancient secret of unconditional love that Julian of Norwich revealed. We'll explore how a simple woman, living through a time of unparalleled global crisis, found a certainty, a profound hope, and an unshakable inner peace that speaks directly to the anxieties and uncertainties we face in our lives today. This isn't about converting you to a particular belief system or asking you to abandon your spiritual path. Instead, it's about opening a window to a perspective that can fundamentally shift how you perceive your struggles, your worth, and and the very fabric of the universe around you. We'll delve into the nuance of Julian's extraordinary message, dissecting how her radical understanding of divine love provides not just comfort, but a practical framework for navigating personal setbacks, global turmoil, and the persistent feeling of being lost. We'll explore why all shall be well isn't a passive wish, but an active invitation to trust in a deeper reality, to find strength not in denial, but in the acknowledgement of a benevolent presence sustaining all things. You'll discover how her insights can help you cultivate a more compassionate relationship with yourself, with others, and with life's mysterious unfolding. This journey is for anyone who has felt overwhelmed, wrestled with self-doubt, or yearns for a deeper sense of peace and belonging in a fragmented world. It's for those seeking an anchor in stormy seas. By the end, I promise you'll have a new lens through which to view your experiences, a renewed sense of hope, and perhaps a clearer pathway to experiencing that simple, unconditional love that Julian of Norwich knew, with unwavering certainty, was the ultimate truth of everything. Prepare to have your heart and mind open to a transformative understanding of what it means for all to be well. This isn't just history. It's a vital, living message for us, right here, right now. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this deeply personal and, I hope, profoundly transformative journey we're about to embark on together. Today, we're reaching back across more than 6 centuries, not just to dust off an old book from a forgotten shelf, but to truly bring to life the radical, life-altering wisdom of a woman whose insights feel as fresh, as vital, and as urgently needed today as they were when she first put quill to parchment. We're going to dive deep into the extraordinary world of Julian of Norwich and her timeless masterpiece, Revelations of Divine Love. Now, who exactly was Julian of Norwich? Picture 14th century England. It was a world grappling with unimaginable hardship, a landscape shadowed by the pervasive threat of death and disease. The infamous Black Death had swept across Europe, decimating entire communities, leaving in its wake not just physical devastation, but a profound spiritual crisis. How could a loving God allow such widespread suffering? Where was meaning to be found in such overwhelming despair? It was precisely against this backdrop of immense human vulnerability and existential questioning that Julian lived and breathed. She wasn't born into royalty or high ecclesiastical office. Instead, she chose a path that, to our modern sensibilities, might seem almost unfathomable in its austerity and commitment. She became an anchoress. Imagine the sheer courage, the unwavering conviction required for such a life. An anchoress was a woman who committed to living a life of extreme solitude, literally enclosed or walled in, to a small cell often attached to the side of a church. From this tiny dwelling, with perhaps one window looking into the sacred space of the altar for Mass, and another, often veiled, opening out to the world to offer spiritual counsel and receive sustenance, she dedicated her entire existence to prayer, contemplation, and deep reflection. She was, in essence, a living oracle, a conduit for divine wisdom, a spiritual anchor for a community desperately seeking solace and guidance amidst a world consumed by uncertainty and fear. Julian embraced this radical, self-imposed isolation, not as an escape from the world's harsh realities, but as a deliberate turning inward to find a deeper connection to the divine. A connection she then lovingly shared with all those who came seeking her profound wisdom. It was during a severe, near-fatal illness at the tender age of 30, in the year 1373, that Julian experienced a series of profound and intense spiritual visions, what she herself so simply yet powerfully referred to as showings. These weren't fleeting dreams or simple meditations. They were vivid, immersive, revelatory experiences that lasted for hours, offering her deep, often startling insights into the very nature of God, the often mysterious purpose of suffering, and the boundless, all-encompassing reality of divine love. What makes Julian's enduring legacy even more extraordinary is that she, a woman living in an era when female voices were largely absent from, and often actively suppressed in theological discourse, spent the next several decades meticulously reflecting upon, analyzing, and ultimately recording these visions. The result was her groundbreaking text, Revelations of Divine Love, a work now widely considered the first book in the English language written by a woman, and undeniably, a theological masterpiece that continues to challenge, comfort, and inspire countless individuals across the globe. My own personal journey with Julian began several years ago, during a period in my life that felt particularly adrift and weighed down by internal and external pressures. Perhaps you can relate to moments of profound uncertainty. I was grappling with a confusing mix of personal anxieties, searching for existential answers about purpose and meaning, and feeling a general sense of unease about the complexities of the modern world. The prevailing narratives I encountered often felt harsh, demanding, or simply inadequate in providing genuine comfort or truly transformative insight. I was searching for something that offered a deeper sense of hope, a more expansive and inclusive understanding of love than what I typically found in contemporary thought. It was then, almost serendipitously, that revelations of divine love found its way into my hands. I approached it, I admit, with a healthy dose of academic curiosity tinged with a little skepticism. How could a voice from the distant Middle Ages, from a woman walled into a solitary cell, possibly resonate with my very modern, very 21st century dilemmas? But from the very moment I began to read, Julian's voice, imbued with such clarity, such gentle authority, and such profound compassion, began to work its profound magic within me. She cut through centuries of rigid dogma and presented a vision of the divine that was utterly breathtaking in its radicality. A God not of distant judgment and punitive wrath, but of intimate, all-encompassing, unconditional, and utterly relentless love. Her central message, the luminous core of her revelations, was that all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This wasn't a naive, simplistic denial of the immense suffering she witnessed and personally endured. Julian lived through an age of rampant plague, famine, and personal loss. Instead, it was a deep, unwavering conviction, born from her direct mystical experience, that beneath all the apparent chaos, all the pain, all the brokenness and fear that seem to dominate our human experience, there lies an eternal, benevolent, and loving intention. She spoke of God not just as Father, but profoundly, beautifully, as our Mother, tenderly, intimately holding all of creation in an unbreakable, sustaining embrace. This radical embrace of love, this profound assurance that our suffering, however inexplicable, is ultimately part of a larger, benevolent design, and that in the end, love will definitively prevail. It wasn't just comforting, it was truly transformative for me. It wasn't about ignoring the darkness or pretending it didn't exist. It was about learning to see the unwavering light that permeates even the deepest shadows of our existence. It offered a profound sense of peace, a renewed sense of hope, and a complete paradigm shift that allowed me to approach life with a far greater degree of acceptance, trust, and loving presence. So, let's be absolutely clear. This video isn't merely a dry historical overview or a conventional book summary, though we will certainly honor Julian's incredible life and delve into the rich details of her visions. My intention here is much, much deeper. It's an earnest exploration of how we can genuinely live with Julian's profound wisdom in our complex, often overwhelming, and sometimes disorienting 21st century lives. How do these ancient insights from a medieval anchoress speak directly to our contemporary anxieties about technology, climate change, social divisions, personal relationships, and our relentless search for authentic meaning and belonging? How can her radical message of universal love, compassion, and acceptance inform our own resilience, cultivate greater empathy for ourselves and others, and deepen our understanding of ourselves and our interconnected world? Over the course of this exploration, we'll embark on a structured journey through several key facets of Julian's groundbreaking work. First, we'll immerse ourselves more fully in the specific details of her showings, vividly describing what she saw, what she heard, and the profound theological implications woven into these extraordinary mystical encounters. Then, we'll carefully unpack her most revolutionary and often challenging ideas, her unparalleled understanding of God's boundless, unconditional love, her unique, often misunderstood perspective on sin as hopefully necessary for spiritual growth, her groundbreaking portrayal of Christ as our nurturing mother, and of course, that deeply resonant, enduring promise that all shall be well. We'll dedicate considerable time to discussing how these concepts fundamentally challenged the theological norms of her time and, crucially, how they continue to offer a powerful, healing counter-narrative to many of our contemporary fears, judgments, and societal pressures. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we will collectively explore practical, actionable ways to integrate Julian's profound wisdom into our own daily lives, seeking to cultivate a similar spirit of radical acceptance, unwavering hope, and expansive, inclusive love in our modern, busy, and sometimes cynical world. Join me as we uncover the timeless, transformative relevance of this extraordinary medieval mystic. Chapter 1. The Hazelnut in My Palm, Seeing the Universe in the Small. Welcome back. Or if this is your very first time joining us, a warm welcome. I'm so genuinely thrilled you're here. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the remarkable mind and spirit of Julian of Norwich, a woman whose profound revelations from the 14th century continue to resonate with such astonishing clarity and relevance in our modern lives. Her wisdom feels not just timeless, but acutely pertinent to the challenges and questions we face today. And for our first chapter, where else could we possibly begin but with one of her most iconic, most tender, and truly enchanting visions? It's a vision that has captivated scholars, mystics, and seekers for centuries, often simply referred to as the vision of the hazelnut. Picture the scene with me, if you will. Julian, perhaps in the quiet solitude of her anchorite cell, a small dwelling attached to a church, dedicated to prayer and contemplation. It's a place of deep introspection, where the ordinary world fades, and the inner landscape of the soul comes into sharp focus. Perhaps she's in the midst of one of those intense, vivid spiritual experiences that defined her revelations, moments where the veil between the seen and unseen grew thin. And then, suddenly, she perceives something. It's not with her physical eyes, the ones that see the walls of her cell, but with an inner spiritual sight, a sight of her understanding, as she describes it. And what she sees is astonishingly, wonderfully small. It's a tiny, diminutive thing, no bigger than a hazelnut. Imagine it, resting there, perfectly formed, in the very palm of her open hand. A simple, unassuming nut, brown and smooth, a marvel of miniature creation. Right there, held gently in her open palm. This tiny object, to her spiritual gaze, encapsulates everything. Now, this isn't just a quaint, fleeting image, a whimsical detail in a larger narrative. For Julian, this almost impossibly small hazelnut became a profound, potent symbol, a crystalline window into the very heart of existence, the nature of creation, and the boundless reach of divine love. And from this humble vision, this simple object held in her hand, she gleaned not one, but three utterly fundamental truths. Truths that she articulates with such astonishing clarity, simplicity, and unwavering conviction in her writings. These are the pillars of her understanding, born from that tiny nut. The first truth, God made it, so incredibly concise yet so overwhelmingly profound. This little nut, in its perfect miniature form, and by extension, every single facet of our unimaginably vast and complex creation, owes its very being, its existence, to a divine source. It didn't just coalesce from random chance. It wasn't an accident. It was brought into being with intention, with purpose, by a creative force beyond our full comprehension. This truth speaks to the fundamental givenness of life, the sheer miracle that anything exists at all, originating from a loving creator. The second truth, God loves it. This is where the warmth truly begins to radiate, where the depth of Julian's vision becomes almost palpable. The creator, she understood, is not some distant, indifferent architect, a cosmic clockmaker who wound up the universe and walked away. No, the divine is a loving parent, an infinitely tender presence, cherishing every single thing that has been brought into being. Every intricate fiber, every shimmering atom, every unique curve, every subtle texture of that hazelnut, and truly, everything in our grand, sprawling universe, every star, every ocean, every human heart is infused, saturated even with divine affection. It's not just made. It's beloved, held in an eternal embrace of care. And the third truth, perhaps the most comforting, the most reassuring of all, especially in times of uncertainty and fear, God keeps it. This tiny, seemingly fragile, easily overlooked, and in the grand scheme of things, insignificant thing isn't left to fend for itself. It is not cast adrift in a cold, uncaring void. No, it is continually held, perpetually sustained, actively protected, and lovingly maintained by this boundless, benevolent divine power. It doesn't merely exist. It is kept in existence, moment by moment, breath by breath, by an enduring, unwavering love. Think of the sheer wonder of that. An active, ongoing, steadfast preservation. It's genuinely striking, isn't it, how these insights, born from a spiritual experience in a medieval cell, echo so powerfully with the practices and concepts we embrace in modern mindfulness and contemplative traditions. It's as if Julian was a mindfulness master long before the term even existed. Think about the very essence of mindfulness. What is it at its core? It's about cultivating a deep, non-judgmental awareness of the present moment, truly seeing, truly experiencing what is right in front of us, no matter how ordinary, how small, or how mundane it might seem. It's about peeling back the layers of distraction and preconception to find the sacred, the profound, the truly real in the seemingly everyday. Julian, with her vision of the hazelnut, was doing precisely this. She wasn't simply dismissing it as just a nut, something to be cracked and eaten. Instead, she was seeing an entire universe encapsulated within its tiny form. She was recognizing the profound significance, the unmistakable signature of the divine hand, in something that most of us would barely give a second glance to. We live in a world that often encourages speed, distraction, and a constant forward gaze, making it easy to rush through our days, often completely overlooking the countless hazelnuts, the small miracles that are woven into the very fabric of everyday life, the intricate, almost impossibly perfect pattern of veins on a single leaf, the comforting warmth and fragrant steam rising from a simple cup of tea, the gentle, unwavering rhythm of our own breath, sustaining us without conscious effort, the particular way the light catches a dust mote dancing in a sunbeam. Julian's vision serves as a profound, gentle challenge to us. It invites us, no, it implores us to slow down, to look more closely, to engage our senses, our hearts, and our inner vision, to find the divine not just in grand, awe-inspiring cathedrals or in dramatic, thunderous revelations, but in the quiet, unassuming objects and moments that populate our world. It's about realizing that nothing, absolutely nothing, is truly insignificant, because everything, every single atom, every tiny speck, every vast galaxy, is touched by the same continuous, creative, boundless love and sustaining force. It shifts our perspective from scarcity to abundance, from insignificance to sacredness. And finally, let's turn our attention to the incredibly profound, almost visceral sense of safety, security, and peace that flows directly from Julian's third, truly life-affirming truth: God keeps it. In a world that so often feels overwhelmingly chaotic, frighteningly unpredictable, and at times, let's be honest, frankly terrifying, this simple yet colossal idea offers an immense, immeasurable sense of solace and comfort. To truly internalize the knowledge that we, individually and collectively, and indeed all of creation in its stunning diversity, are not just existing in isolation, not adrift in some cold, uncaring, indifferent cosmos, but are instead continually kept, held fast, and tenderly nurtured by an omnipresent, loving force. It's like experiencing a cosmic embrace, a universal cradle, a tender, unbreakable bond that it means, at the deepest level of our being, that we are held. It means there's an inherent, fundamental goodness woven into the very fabric of existence, beneath all the superficial turmoil. This isn't about promoting a naive or blind optimism, nor is it about asking us to ignore or dismiss the very real suffering and pain that fills our world. Julian herself was no stranger to profound suffering. She lived through plague, famine, and social upheaval, and she experienced intense physical and spiritual anguish during her own revelations. Yet, even amidst all that pain, doubt, and hardship, her vision offered an unwavering, luminous truth. Underneath it all, beneath the surface chaos and the transient sorrows, there is an enduring, steadfast love, a divine hand that sustains, that protects, that holds everything together. It's the feeling of being utterly, completely safe, Not in the sense that harm will never come to us, because life is inherently risky and full of challenges, but in the sense that we are never truly alone, never truly abandoned, never truly forgotten. It provides an unshakable foundation of trust, a deep-seated, intuitive knowing that even when things feel like they are irrevocably falling apart around us, there is a steadying, loving presence that continues to hold all things together, that gathers us back into itself. It allows us to face the uncertainties and complexities of life with a quiet confidence, a serene inner strength, knowing with absolute certainty that we are precious, we are infinitely loved, and we are eternally, divinely kept. This understanding is not just a theological concept. It is a balm for the soul, a source of enduring peace that can transform how we navigate every single day. It reminds us of our innate value, our belonging, and our unbreakable connection to the source of all life. Chapter 2. The Puzzle of Sin and the Compassionate God. In our last chapter, we began to open ourselves to the radical, tender vision of God that Julian of Norwich received. But now we must turn to perhaps the most challenging, yet ultimately most comforting aspect of her revelations, the enigma of sin and suffering. This is where Julian truly shines a light into the darkest corners of human experience, offering a perspective that, for many, is nothing short of revolutionary. It's a question that has haunted humanity for millennia, isn't it? If God is truly all-loving, all-powerful, all-good, then why is there sin? Why is there suffering? Why do we stumble, fall, and hurt ourselves and each other day after day? Most spiritual traditions grapple with this, often with a sense of blame or divine judgment. But Julian, in her profound, intimate conversations with God, was given an answer that reframes everything. She doesn't deny sin's existence. Far from it. Julian saw sin as a painful, real absence of love, a wound. She felt the sorrow of it, the way it separated us from our true selves and from God. But she also understood something utterly unique, that from God's eternal perspective, sin is not an obstacle to love, but rather, in a mysterious way, a path to a deeper, more profound love. Julian introduces this incredibly bold concept. Sin is behovely. Now, this word, behovely, doesn't mean sin is good. It doesn't mean God wants us to sin, or that we should seek it out. Rather, it means necessary, fitting, useful, or appropriate in a larger, divine plan. It's like a painful medical procedure that is necessary for healing, or a difficult challenge that, once overcome, leaves you stronger and wiser. For Julian, sin is a wound, yes, but a wound that ultimately leads us to a greater awareness of our own fragility, our own inability to perfectly sustain ourselves. It strips away our pride, our self-reliance, and in doing so, it creates an empty space within us, a hunger. And what fills that hunger? It's the boundless, unwavering grace of God. It compels us to seek healing, to seek forgiveness, to seek comfort not within ourselves, but in the divine source of all love. It fosters humility, a deep, honest recognition of our need for God. And in that humility, we open ourselves more fully to receive His grace. Julian saw that the very experience of falling, and then being lifted up by divine love, imprints a deeper gratitude and understanding of God's mercy on our souls than if we had never fallen at all. To help us grasp this seemingly paradoxical truth, Julian was shown a magnificent parable, one that profoundly shaped her understanding of the fall of humanity and of God's relentless compassion. It's known as the parable of the Lord and the servant. Picture this. Julian sees a Lord, majestic and strong, sitting in state. Beside him stands a servant, ready to perform the Lord's will. The servant is clothed simply but well, strong and nimble, eager to serve. The Lord looks upon this servant with immense love and tenderness. He gives the servant a task, to run a great distance to fetch something precious. The servant, full of zeal, begins to run. But in his haste and eagerness, the servant stumbles. He falls into a deep ditch, severely injuring himself. He's in agony, unable to move, despairing. He tries to look back at his Lord, but he's so twisted in pain that he can't lift his head. He's overwhelmed with fear and shame, convinced he has failed, that his Lord must be furious with him. Yet, Julian says, the Lord, all this time, never takes his eyes off the servant. He doesn't blame him. He doesn't scold him. He doesn't turn away in anger. Instead, his gaze is one of unwavering compassion, pity, and tender love. The Lord knows why the servant fell. It was out of eagerness, out of a desire to please. He knows the servant's pain is not deserved, but a consequence of his good intentions, and here's the crucial part. The Lord sees not just the servant's fall, but also his rising. He sees the servant's entire journey, from beginning to end, with perfect clarity. He has a hidden plan, a secret counsel, that will not only lift the servant out of the ditch, but will ultimately raise him to an even higher honor than he had before. The Lord is already making arrangements for his healing and elevation. He even laughs, a gentle, joyful laugh, because he knows the glorious outcome that the servant cannot yet perceive. Julian understood this parable to be about the fall of humanity. The servant represents Adam, and through him, all of us. Our fall was not an act of malicious rebellion, but, in some mysterious way, a misstep born of our created nature, our desire for goodness, perhaps, but not yet our full understanding. It was a plunge into the ditch of sin and suffering. But more importantly, the Lord in the parable represents God, and his response is not judgment, but profound, unconditional love. He doesn't blame us for our failings. He doesn't condemn us for our wounds. He doesn't see our sins as a final statement on who we are. Instead, God only sees us with compassion, with understanding, with an eternal plan for our redemption and elevation. He sees our struggles, our missteps, our pain, not as reasons for anger, but as opportunities for his grace to shine even brighter. Julian stresses that God's loving gaze is constant. He never stops seeing us as whole, as beloved, as destined for glory. Our sin, our struggles, our shortcomings, these are temporary conditions from God's perspective, like a temporary illness that will eventually be healed. They are not our true identity. Our true identity is in being deeply loved, deeply cherished children of God. The beautiful, comforting, and frankly revolutionary takeaway from Julian of Norwich is this: God does not see our sin and blame us. He sees our sin and feels compassion for us, much like a parent sees a child stumble and fall. A loving parent doesn't punish the child for falling. They rush to pick them up, comfort them, and help them learn to walk again. God's compassion is infinite, his understanding complete. He knows our makeup, our limitations, our intentions. He knows the wound of sin, and his greatest desire is our healing, our wholeness, and our ultimate union with him in a love that transcends all understanding. Julian heard these words directly from God, words that echo through the centuries, offering profound solace. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This isn't a naive dismissal of suffering, but a divinely revealed certainty that through the lens of God's eternal love and his compassionate plan, even the wounds of sin will ultimately be integrated into a story of greater love, greater humility, and a deeper, more profound connection to the divine heart. Chapter 3. God is our mother. All right, welcome back. We've journeyed through Julian's profound visions and her unwavering conviction that all shall be well. But to truly understand the depth of that promise, to grasp its full, comforting weight, we need to dive into perhaps her most radical, and certainly her most tender theological insight, the idea of God as our mother. Now, take a moment to really place yourself in the 14th century, a world steeped in hierarchical structures, both societal and within the church. The prevailing image of God was almost exclusively masculine: a powerful, distant king, a stern judge, or a suffering father on the cross. For a woman, a recluse living a quiet, contemplative life in a cell, to not just ponder but to proclaim God's motherhood was nothing short of revolutionary. It was a theological earthquake, quiet though it may have been, that reverberates with profound warmth, comfort, and liberating truth. Even today, Julian wasn't simply using a poetic metaphor. She truly believed that the divine encompassed and expressed itself in the most intimate, life-giving, and fiercely nurturing aspects of motherhood. She refers quite deliberately to Mother Jesus, a concept that even now might feel startling. But for Julian, Jesus, through his human incarnation, sacrifice, and continuous presence, perfectly embodies these essential motherly qualities. So, what are these profound qualities Julian ascribes to Mother Jesus? She speaks first of wisdom. A good mother, in Julian's understanding, possesses an innate, deep knowing of her child. She perceives their needs, their unspoken fears, their unique temperament. Similarly, God, our mother, possesses ultimate, all-encompassing wisdom. It's a wisdom not just about cosmic order, but about personal, tender, always present care, understanding our deepest selves, our struggles, our potential far beyond our own comprehension. Then there's mercy. Julian adored God's mercy, seeing it as boundless, endless, a wellspring that never runs dry. Think of a mother's mercy for her struggling child. No matter how many times a child stumbles, how many mistakes they make, a good mother's heart is quick to forgive, to console, to pick them up gently and hold them close again. Julian saw the same overflowing, ceaseless mercy in God. It's not a conditional mercy, but a continuous, unyielding fount of forgiveness, patience, and tender understanding. It's the divine hand always reaching out, ready to embrace us back into warmth, even when we've wandered far, and nourishment. Just as a mother's body provides physical sustenance for her infant, Julian saw God as the ultimate source of spiritual, emotional, and even physical nourishment. She described Jesus as our true mother, feeding us not just with physical life, but continuously with spiritual grace, profound comfort, and the very strength we need for our journey. She boldly declares, "The mother's service is nearest, readiest, and surest. This gracious office is mine by the Lord's gift, for I am a mother to you by the grace of God." She felt God literally feeding her soul, sustaining her through suffering and doubt, much like a hungry child draws vital life from its mother's breast. But perhaps the most beautiful and deeply resonant image Julian offers us is that of being carried close. Imagine a child, utterly small and vulnerable, yet nestled securely in its mother's arms, pressed intimately against her breast, feeling the warmth of her body, hearing the steady rhythm of her heart. Julian felt this divine embrace not just metaphorically, but as a constant, immediate reality. She envisioned God not as a distant, towering observer, but as intimately present, actively holding us, carrying us through every single moment of our lives, from birth to death and beyond. Listen to these words, straight from her heart. "For the mother can give her child to suck of her milk, but our precious mother Jesus, he can feed us with himself." This is radical. He gives himself completely. And further, she says, "He keeps us full tenderly, and never will he suffer us to be lost. He keeps us so full tenderly, and never will he leave us until he has brought us to his bliss." Can you truly feel the immense, unwavering tenderness woven into those words? It's a God who is not just watching, but actively holding you, protecting you, guiding you with an unimaginable gentleness. She speaks of God literally enclosing us, wrapping us up in divine love. "He is our clothing, for love wrappeth us and windeth us, embraceth us and all beclotheth us, all for love, that he may never leave us." Think of that feeling of utter security, of being completely encompassed by love, like a tiny baby swaddled in warm, soft blankets, safe in its mother's loving arms. This wasn't abstract theology for Julian. It was a deeply felt, visceral, sensory experience of constant divine presence and unwavering comfort, a grace that permeated her every moment. This perspective, this radical tenderness, this image of God as our ever-present, nurturing mother, has the power to heal our image of the divine in profoundly transformative ways. For so many of us, growing up with traditional religious imagery, God can often feel like a distant, perhaps even judgmental figure. The God of strict rules, of potential punishment, of grand, often unreachable expectations. This can leave us feeling anxious, perpetually unworthy, or constantly striving for an approval that seems just out of reach. But Julian's Mother God completely dismantles that fear. She invites us, with open arms, into an intimacy born of unconditional love, boundless patience, and unwavering acceptance. This is a God who doesn't just tolerate us. This is a God who delights in us, A God who understands our every weakness, our every stumble, with infinite patience and compassion, who never grows tired of our mistakes, who is always ready to welcome us back into the deepest, most comforting embrace. It's a love that is gentle, fiercely protective, ceaselessly life-giving, and utterly dedicated to our holistic flourishing, mirroring the purest, most selfless form of maternal love we can imagine. For me, personally, discovering Julian's mother god was a revelation. It softened rough edges in my own spiritual understanding that I didn't even realize were sharp. It transformed the intimidating idea of divine judgment into gentle, unwavering divine understanding, stern divine discipline into loving, patient divine guidance, and a sense of divine distance into an experience of profound, immediate intimacy. It made God feel less like a cosmic CEO and more like the most tender, compassionate presence imaginable, one who truly knows me, deeply loves me, and wants only for me to find my way home, safe and sound, nestled securely in her boundless arms. It's a perspective that doesn't diminish God's ultimate power or divine majesty. Rather, it expands it, showing us that true power lies in boundless love, unwavering presence, and unconditional care. It encourages us to lean fully into divine grace, knowing with absolute certainty that we are held, nurtured, and utterly safe, no matter what personal storms, global anxieties, or existential doubts we might face. So, as we reflect on Julian's mother god, this radical, comforting, and transformative image, I invite you to consider: how might your own relationship with the divine shift if you truly, deeply embraced this image? What lingering fears might finally dissipate? What profound comfort might you discover? What new, unburdened depths of love and acceptance could open up within your own heart and soul? Because if all shall be well, it is surely and beautifully because we are held so tenderly, so lovingly, by such a divine mother. Chapter 4. Our Two Halves. The Divine Spark and the Human Struggle. All right, welcome back everyone. We've been on quite a journey, diving into the profound and surprisingly comforting world of Julian of Norwich. We've explored her unique vision of God as a loving mother, a tender guardian, and a constant presence. Today, we're tackling one of her most liberating insights, something that has resonated deeply with me and, I suspect, will with many of you. This is Chapter 4, Our Two Halves, the Divine Spark and the Human Struggle. Julian offers a remarkably nuanced and, dare I say, revolutionary understanding of human nature. She sees us not as singular beings, but as a beautiful, sometimes perplexing duality. She describes us as having two distinct, yet interconnected parts, our substance and our sensuality. These might sound like old theological terms, but her definitions breathe a freshness into them that feels incredibly modern and relevant. Let's start with our substance. This, Julian teaches, is our higher self, our truest essence, the very core of who we are. It is the part of us created directly by God, in God's image, and eternally connected to the divine. Imagine a luminous, perfect spark, nestled deep within your being. That's your substance. It is uncorrupted, unblemished, and utterly, unceasingly loved by God. It's the part of you that knows no sin, feels no shame, and is always whole. Julian emphasizes that this substance is held entirely by God, like a precious treasure, safe and secure, beyond the reach of any earthly turmoil or human error. It is, in essence, our permanent, divine anchor, a spiritual constant that remains pristine. Then we have our sensuality. This is the part of us that experiences life in the physical world. It's our body, mind, emotions, senses, everything that makes us human in this tangible realm. Our sensuality is where we feel joy and sorrow, where we learn, grow, make choices, and yes, where we stumble, struggle, and sometimes fall into what we perceive as sin. Julian doesn't shy away from human fallibility. She acknowledges the pain, confusion, mistakes, and the very real experience of feeling separated or unworthy, the pangs of conscience. Our sensuality is precisely where we encounter temptation, doubt, and the often harsh realities of life, where we navigate the complexities of right and wrong. So, how do these two halves coexist, and what does it mean for our spiritual journey? This is where Julian's insights become truly transformative. She tells us that even when our sensuality is steeped in struggle, even when it feels lost, broken, or utterly tainted by sin, our substance remains absolutely untouched. Our divine self, that pure spark, stays safe and whole, perpetually connected to and cherished by God. Think of it like a majestic, ancient tree with its roots firmly planted deep within the earth, drawing sustenance from a hidden, pure spring. No matter how wild the storms rage in its branches, no matter how much the leaves get battered or fall, the deep roots and the core of the tree remain nourished, secure, and alive. Our substance is that pure, unwavering core. God looks upon our substance and sees only perfection, only love, a reflection of himself that can never be truly dimmed. This is a profoundly radical message. Julian isn't saying sin doesn't exist, or that our struggles aren't real, or that our actions don't have consequences. She's saying that our struggles, our sins, our human imperfections, do not define our ultimate worth or sever our inherent connection to the divine. They are part of the journey of our sensuality, lessons we learn, experiences we navigate, but they do not penetrate or diminish the absolute, eternal perfection of our substance. God holds both parts in love, the struggling, learning sensuality, and the eternally perfect substance. He understands our human frailty with infinite compassion, and at the same time, he sees and cherishes the divine essence within us that can never be corrupted, always knowing our truest, highest self. Now, let's bring this beautiful medieval wisdom into our modern lives. How often do we judge ourselves harshly for our mistakes, our perceived flaws, our moments of weakness or doubt? We carry shame, guilt, and a persistent feeling of not being good enough. Julian's message is a powerful antidote to this self-condemnation and the often debilitating cycle of shame. It encourages us to embrace self-acceptance not just in spite of our flaws, but with an understanding that those flaws belong to a part of us, our sensuality, that is inherently designed to learn and grow through experience, through trial and error, through the very act of living. This concept resonates strongly with contemporary ideas around integrating our shadow self, those aspects of ourselves we deem unacceptable, messy, or even dark, and thus push away. Julian tells us that even these shadow aspects, these parts of our sensuality that struggle, are held within God's loving gaze. We don't need to be ashamed of our full human experience. We can acknowledge our imperfections, our moments of fear or selfishness, without letting them define our entire being or sever our connection to the divine. Our substance, our true self, is always there, whole and loved, anchoring us, providing an unshakable foundation for our journey. So, when you find yourself in a moment of self-doubt, or perhaps wrestling with a challenging emotion or a past mistake that feels heavy, remember Julian's profound wisdom. Remember your two halves. Acknowledge the experience of your sensuality, the pain, the lesson, the struggle, the regret, but then consciously connect to your substance, that divine spark within you that is eternally loved, eternally whole, and forever united with God. There is no shame that can truly touch that perfect core. There is only an unending, unmerited stream of divine love flowing to and from it. This understanding is not just comforting, it's profoundly empowering. It allows us to face our humanity with compassion and courage, to approach ourselves with a gentleness that mirrors God's own, knowing that our deepest self is always safe in the embrace of infinite love. This realization fundamentally changes how we might approach personal growth and spiritual development. It's not about eradicating our sensuality's imperfections to earn God's love. It's about recognizing that God's love is already fully present, always has been, and always will be, for both our struggling selves and our divine selves. We are already, in our deepest essence, accepted and complete, worthy and cherished. What a breathtaking, liberating thought, isn't it? It invites us to live more fully, more authentically, with less fear and more trust. Next time, we'll delve even deeper into the implications of this radical love, exploring how Julian sees suffering itself as part of this divine plan, not as punishment, but as a path that paradoxically leads us towards an even greater understanding of God's grace and His unwavering presence. You won't want to miss it. Chapter 5. The Great Promise. All shall be well. Welcome back, dear listener, to our journey through the extraordinary insights of Julian of Norwich. As we've explored her visions, her profound experiences of divine love, and her unflinching gaze at both the beauty and the brokenness of creation, we now arrive at perhaps her most iconic and sometimes most misunderstood statement. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This isn't just a quaint, comforting saying. It's the bedrock of her entire spiritual revelation, a radical declaration born from the depths of personal anguish and divine encounter. In this chapter, let's peel back the layers of this great promise, understanding it not as some saccharine, naive optimism, but as a profound, revolutionary statement of trust in the ultimate, unwavering goodness of God's plan to truly grasp the weight of all shall be well. We must first place ourselves in Julian's shoes, or rather, in her heart and mind during one of her most intense spiritual crises. Julian, remember, was acutely aware of sin, suffering, and the eternal consequences that mainstream theology of her time often emphasized with terrifying clarity. She didn't just intellectually acknowledge human frailty. She felt the burden of humanity's sin, the vastness of human suffering, and the terrifying prospect of eternal damnation for so many souls. This wasn't an abstract theological problem for her. It was a deeply personal anguish, a spiritual torment over the fate of all people, a cry from the depths of her being, wondering how, in the face of such pervasive sin and pain, anything could ultimately be good. She wrestled with God, much like Jacob, demanding an answer to the seemingly unanswerable question. How could a loving God allow such widespread misery and potential loss? It was in this crucible of distress, this intense intercession for all of creation, that the divine comfort came. Not a detailed theological explanation, not a step-by-step blueprint of redemption, but a simple, repeated, and utterly profound affirmation. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This wasn't God waving a magic wand and saying, "Poof, everything's fixed." It was a deep, resonating reassurance, a divine embrace that held her anguish without dismissing it. It was a promise that transcended her immediate understanding, rooted in a divine perspective that saw beyond the temporal chaos to an ultimate, harmonious resolution. Now, this brings us to a crucial distinction, one that Julian herself embodies perfectly. Her affirmation, "All shall be well," is worlds apart from what we today might call toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is that knee-jerk insistence on being cheerful, on looking on the bright side, even when faced with genuine pain and suffering. It often invalidates our feelings, tells us to suppress our grief or anger, and essentially denies the reality of hardship. Julian did no such thing. Her visions, as we've seen, were filled with the excruciating suffering of Christ. Her own near-death experience was agonizing, and her prayers were burdened by the very real sin and pain she witnessed in the world. She never, for a moment, denied suffering. She stared it in the face, head-on. What Julian's promise offers, instead, is not a denial of suffering, but a belief that suffering, however real and devastating it may be in the moment, will ultimately be transformed into good. It's the conviction that pain is not the final word, that brokenness is not the end of the story. Think of it not as a demand to pretend you're not hurting, but as a profound trust that your hurts will not be wasted, that they will be woven into a larger tapestry of healing and redemption. It's like knowing that winter, with all its harshness, will eventually give way to spring, and the earth will be renewed, often more vibrantly for having rested under the cold. It's about holding the paradox. Yes, this hurts terribly now, but I believe that, in the ultimate plan, all shall be well. This isn't ignoring the storm. It's trusting that beyond the storm, there is a clear sky, and perhaps even a rainbow point. One of the most intriguing aspects of this great promise is Julian's reference to what God will perform, a secret deed. When Julian pressed God, still struggling to comprehend how all could be well, especially in the face of sin and its consequences, God didn't provide a comprehensive theological treatise. Instead, he spoke of a great deed, or a secret deed, that he himself would perform at the end of time, a divine action that would ultimately make all things well. This deed, God revealed, was something only he knew and understood, a divine mystery beyond human comprehension. This secret deed is not a loophole or an escape clause. It's an invitation to profound trust. God is essentially saying, you don't need to understand the how right now. You cannot grasp the fullness of my plan, the way I will mend what is broken, heal what is wounded, and ultimately reconcile all things to myself. It's my secret, my divine work, but I promise you, it will be done, and it will encompass everything. It emphasizes the sheer magnitude of God's power and goodness, a power so vast that it can transform even the most intractable evils and deepest sorrows into ultimate good. It demands of us a radical surrender, an unwavering belief that the Creator of the universe, who is pure love, has a plan far grander and more effective than anything our finite minds can conceive. We are asked to simply trust that God's character, His fundamental goodness and omnipotence, guarantees this ultimate restoration, even if the method remains a divine secret. So, how does this profound promise, this all shall be well, serve as an anchor of hope in our own lives, allowing us to navigate life's difficulties without succumbing to despair? In a world often overflowing with chaos, injustice, personal tragedy, and collective suffering, this phrase is a lifeline. It doesn't ask us to deny the suffering, to pretend it isn't real, or to stop striving for justice and compassion. On the contrary, it empowers us to engage with life's challenges with a foundational hope that frees us from paralyzing despair. When we hold on to Julian's promise, we are not passively accepting hardship. We are actively choosing to believe in an ultimate reality of goodness, a divine telos towards which all creation is moving. This allows us to grieve fully, to feel our pain deeply, but without being consumed by it. It means we can work tirelessly for change, for healing, for justice, even when the immediate results are discouraging, because we trust in the ultimate, unseen hand guiding creation towards its ultimate reconciliation. It gives us the courage to love fiercely, to forgive generously, and to persist in kindness, knowing that these acts, however small, are ripples in a divine current flowing towards that glorious end where all shall be well. It transforms our endurance into active waiting, our struggles into pathways of deeper faith. It's the ultimate reassurance that our story, and the story of all creation, ends not in tragedy, but in triumph, not in despair, but in a wellness beyond our wildest dreams, fully known and fully loved by God. It becomes the deep breath we take when the world feels too heavy, a reminder that the divine love that Julian experienced is at work, always, eternally, bringing all things to their perfect and intended end. This radical trust, this unwavering hope, is Julian's greatest gift to us. It's an invitation to step out of our limited understanding and into the boundless heart of God, where every tear is seen, every hurt is noted, and every suffering has a place in a narrative of ultimate redemption. It's a promise we can carry, a prayer we can whisper, and a truth we can lean on, allowing us to live our lives not in fear, but in the radiant expectation of a God who truly makes all things well. As we carry this powerful promise in our hearts, let's prepare to explore the profound implications of God's motherhood, and how Julian's understanding of the divine as both father and mother radically reshapes our perception of divine love. Join me in our next chapter as we delve into this tender and revolutionary aspect of Julian's revelations. Chapter 6. Our Natural Will to Goodness. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into Chapter 6 of our journey through Julian of Norwich's Revelations of Divine Love, a chapter I've titled, Our Natural Will to Goodness. And honestly, this particular insight from Julian is one of the most radical and perhaps most liberating that she offers. It challenges so many of our preconceived notions about ourselves and about humanity at large. Julian's vision of human nature is profoundly optimistic, almost breathtakingly so. She asserts, with unwavering conviction, something that might sound almost heretical to some ears. Our soul is so nobly created that it can never will anything but good. Think about that for a moment. Our soul, the very core of who we are, can never will anything but good. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Really, Julian? Have you looked around lately? Have you looked within yourself sometimes? And believe me, I've had those thoughts too. We live in a world, and we carry within ourselves evidence of actions, intentions, and outcomes that seem anything but good. From petty grievances to grand atrocities, history and our daily news feeds are rife with what appears to be a profound capacity for malice, selfishness, and destruction. This is where Julian's perspective stands in such stark contrast to many other spiritual and philosophical traditions, particularly within certain branches of Christianity. For centuries, the concept of original sin has often been interpreted to mean that humanity is inherently flawed, born into depravity, a slave to sin from the outset. We are often taught to mistrust our own deepest impulses, to assume that left to our own devices, we would surely stray into darkness. This view, while perhaps intended to humble us and point us towards divine grace, can also leave us with a deep-seated sense of unworthiness, a constant suspicion of our own motives, and a pervasive guilt. It can feel like an endless battle against an internal enemy, a fundamental rottenness at our core. But Julian, from her little anchorhold in Norwich, offers a completely different lens. She saw no inherent depravity, no fundamental corruption. Instead, she saw a creation so deeply loved by God, so perfectly formed in God's image, that its very essence, its deepest will, cannot desire anything other than what is good, what is Decoded. So, how do we reconcile this with the messiness of human experience, with our mistakes, our failures, our moments of less than godly behavior? Julian helps us understand this by introducing a distinction. Though she doesn't use these exact terms, it's helpful to think of it as our higher will and our lower will. Our higher will is that essential, foundational part of our soul. It is the part that is continually, irrevocably oriented towards God, towards goodness, towards love, peace, and truth. It's like an internal compass that is always fixed on true north, no matter what storms rage around us, no matter how much the boat pitches and rolls. This highest part of us remains pure, untainted, always desiring union with God, always desiring what is ultimately good. Our lower will, on the other hand, is the part of us that engages with the world, with our senses, our emotions, our fears, our ego. This is the part that can get distracted. It can be swayed by worldly desires, by illusions of self-sufficiency, by immediate gratification, by anxiety, or by pain. When we falter, when we make choices we later regret, it's not because our deepest, truest self desired evil. It's because our lower will, perhaps overwhelmed or misguided, temporarily lost sight of that deeper truth. It acted out of fear, out of misunderstanding, out of a mistaken belief that something outside of goodness could bring us joy or relief. Julian suggests that this is true for all of us at all times. Our actions may sometimes miss the mark, but our underlying intention, the deep pulse of our being, is always directed towards good. This isn't a license to do whatever we want, hoping our higher will somehow cleanses it. No, it's an invitation to cultivate an awareness of that higher will, to listen to it, to align our daily choices with that fundamental goodness that is already within us. It's about remembering who we truly are at our most profound level. And this brings us to the profound implications of Julian's insight, both for ourselves and for how we view others. First, it encourages us to trust our own deepest intentions. Even when you've messed up, even when you've fallen short, pause and remember that your truest self, that essential soul created so nobly, still desires goodness. This doesn't mean excusing poor behavior, but it reframes how we approach self-forgiveness and growth. Instead of self-flagellation, it invites compassion for the part of us that got distracted and a renewed commitment to connect with that unwavering core of goodness. It allows us to move forward not from a place of shame, but from a place of inherent worth. It tells us that God never stops seeing that noble creation within us, even when we can't see it ourselves. Second, and perhaps even more transformative, it compels us to see this goodness in others. If our soul, at its core, can only will good, then the same must be true for every other human being. This changes everything about how we interact with people who frustrate us, who hurt us, or who seem to embody evil. It suggests that even in their most misguided actions, their deepest will is not for malice, but for something they perceive, however distortedly, as good for themselves, for their survival, for their perceived peace. This doesn't mean condoning harmful actions. We must still address injustice and protect the vulnerable. But it fosters a radical compassion, a profound understanding that moves beyond judgment. It invites us to look past the superficial distractions of the lower will and connect with the shared divine spark, the inherent goodness that Julian assures us is present in every single soul. It reminds us that God loves them as fiercely and sees them as nobly created as he sees us. Julian's revelations aren't about blind optimism in a world devoid of suffering. She knew suffering intimately. Instead, it's about a deeply rooted theological optimism in the very fabric of creation, in the very essence of human nature, because it is God created, God indwelled, and God loved. So, as you go about your day, I invite you to carry this profound thought with you. Your soul, at its most fundamental level, can never will anything but good. Trust that deepest intention within yourself, and just try to extend that same compassionate understanding to those around you. See past the surface, and remember the noble creation that Julian assures us lies within every single person you encounter. What a different world we might create if we truly lived from that understanding. Alright, so we've journeyed through the profound depths of Julian of Norwich's revelations of divine love, and I hope her radical message of God's boundless love and reassurance has resonated with you as deeply as it has with me. But as we often say here, understanding is just the first step. True transformation begins when we integrate these powerful insights into the fabric of our daily lives. So, what does it look like to truly live these revelations? How can we take these ancient, comforting truths and make them practical, tangible tools for our modern existence? That's exactly what we're going to explore right now with our Living the Revelations, your 7-day action plan. Think of this as a gentle invitation, a week-long experiment to infuse Julian's wisdom into your everyday moments. There's no pressure, no strict rules, just an opportunity to open your heart and mind to a different way of seeing the world and yourself. This isn't about perfection. It's about practice, about planting seeds of divine love in your own inner garden. Let's begin. Day 1 and Day 2. Embracing the hazelnut. We talked about Julian's vision of the hazelnut, that tiny, seemingly insignificant object in her palm, and the 3 great truths it revealed to her. God made it, God loves it, God keeps it. This profound simplicity encapsulates the essence of divine care for all creation. For our first 2 days, your practice is to bring this perspective into your immediate world. Each day, I want you to choose one small, ordinary object or even a person in your immediate environment. It could be your coffee mug, a plant on your windowsill, the pen you write with, or even the barista who serves you coffee, or a family member. Take a moment, just a minute or two, to really look at it or think about that person. And as you do, repeat Julian's mantra. God made it, God loves it, God keeps it. Consider the intricate design of the object. Think about the care that went into its creation, whether by human hands or by nature's incredible artistry. For a person, reflect on their unique journey, their inherent worth, and the intricate web of life that sustains them. Can you sense the divine presence that underpins its very existence, that provides the energy for its being, and upholds it in every moment? This isn't about being overly spiritual or detached. It's about shifting your perception. It's about recognizing the sacred in the mundane. When I first tried this, I chose a simple stone I found on my desk. First, it was just a rock, but as I focused on it, repeating God made it, loves it, keeps it, I started to see the eons of geological time, the elemental forces, the quiet, persistent existence it embodied. A sense of wonder, and indeed, reverence began to creep in. Suddenly, this little stone wasn't just a paperweight. It was a testament to creation, a silent sermon on divine persistence. This once on Day 1, and again with a different object or person on Day 2. See how this subtle shift in attention can begin to reframe your entire day, opening your eyes to the constant, unwavering presence of divine love in every corner of your world. It's an exercise in seeing the extraordinary within the ordinary, a practice in sacred awareness. Day 3 and Day 4. Finding comfort in Mother God. Julian's revolutionary portrayal of God as a nurturing mother is one of her most comforting and radical insights. In an era where God was often depicted as a stern, judgmental father, Julian dared to imagine the divine as a tender, protective parent who nurses, nurtures, and cleanses us with unconditional love. This image offers immense solace, especially when we find ourselves adrift in worry or consumed by anxiety. For Day 3 and Day 4, when you feel anxiety beginning to bubble up, Whether it's a low hum of worry about daily tasks or a more intense wave of fear about something significant, I invite you to turn to this image of Mother God. Instead of letting your thoughts spiral, try pausing for a moment. Close your eyes or simply soften your gaze. Then, begin to pray. You don't need formal words. Simply speak from your heart to the divine as a nurturing mother. You might say, "Mother God, I feel anxious right now. Please hold me. Please soothe my fears." Or, "Mother God, I trust in your love and care for me, just as a mother cares for her child." As you pray, visualize a comforting presence. Imagine yourself being held, cradled, or enveloped in a soft, warm, loving embrace. Picture a gentle light surrounding you, a sense of profound peace washing over you, much like a child seeking refuge in a mother's arms. Feel the anxiety gently being eased, not necessarily disappearing entirely, but softening its grip. For me, this practice transformed my understanding of divine intimacy. I used to think of prayer as something formal, almost academic. But when I started picturing God as this all-encompassing, unconditionally loving mother, it changed everything. It felt less like an appeal and more like a return to source, a coming home. It reminds me that I am never alone, never unloved, and always safe in this vast, cosmic embrace. Do this whenever anxiety arises over these 2 days. The more you practice, the more accessible this comforting presence will become, a true sanctuary within your own heart. It's about cultivating a relationship with the divine that is profoundly personal, tender, and incredibly reassuring. *** Day 5 and Day 6. The freedom of no blame ***. Perhaps one of Julian's most liberating revelations is the profound truth that God does not blame us. Think about that for a moment. We, as humans, are experts at self-criticism. We replay our mistakes, judge our shortcomings, and often carry a heavy burden of shame and guilt for things both big and small. Julian cuts through all of that with a clear, unwavering message. God's love is so complete, so all-encompassing, that there is no room for blame. There is only understanding, compassion, and a constant invitation to learn and grow. For Day 5 and Day 6, your practice is to consciously interrupt your own self-critical voice. When you make a mistake, whether it's forgetting an appointment, saying something you regret, dropping something, or even just feeling you didn't measure up in some way, instead of immediately defaulting to self-blame and harsh judgment, try practicing self-compassion. Acknowledge the mistake, yes. Take responsibility if needed. But then, gently, firmly, remind yourself of Julian's truth. God does not blame me for this. God loves me through this. Offer yourself the same kindness, understanding, and patience you would offer a beloved friend. You might even place a hand over your heart and say to yourself, "It's okay. I am human. I learn. And I am loved, not blamed." Don't try to intellectualize it too much at first. Just let the feeling of that radical acceptance wash over you. This takes practice because our internal critic can be a persistent voice. I remember a time recently when I made a significant error in a work project. My immediate reaction was a torrent of self-recrimination. But then Julian's words came to mind. Instead of spiraling, I took a deep breath. I acknowledged the error, made a plan to fix it, and then, crucially, I chose to offer myself compassion. It wasn't about excusing the mistake, but about refusing to drown in shame. This practice allows us to move forward with clearer minds and lighter hearts, truly embodying the forgiveness that is always extended to us. Give yourself these 2 days to consciously challenge your inner critic with Julian's profound message of non-blame. See how it liberates you, how it creates space for genuine growth rather than punitive self-flagellation. Day 7. Trusting the promise. Finally, we arrive at Day 7, and a mantra that has echoed through centuries, a beacon of hope for countless souls. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This isn't a naive denial of suffering or a simplistic wish. It is an act of profound trust, a surrender to the ultimate goodness and wisdom of divine providence, even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty. For your final day of this plan, let this mantra be your constant companion. Repeat, "All shall be well," throughout the day, especially during moments of stress, doubt, or difficulty. When you receive a challenging email, when traffic is stalled, when a plan goes awry, when you hear disturbing news, or when you simply feel a flutter of worry in your chest, pause, take a breath, and gently, perhaps silently, whisper or affirm, "All shall be well." This is not about forcing an outcome or denying your current feelings. It's about anchoring yourself in a deeper truth, a cosmic certainty that Julian saw so clearly. It's an act of choosing faith over fear, trust over anxiety. It's about reminding yourself that even when things feel messy or broken, there is an underlying current of divine love and order that ultimately prevails. For me, repeating "all shall be well" during stressful times acts like a circuit breaker for my mind. It doesn't instantly solve the problem, but it shifts my internal state from panic to presence, from frantic control to calm acceptance. It allows me to navigate challenges with a greater sense of peace, knowing that I am held within a larger, benevolent plan. It is a powerful affirmation of hope and an invitation to release the burden of needing to control every outcome. Let this simple yet profound mantra guide you through day 7, allowing its gentle power to instill a sense of deep trust and peace within you. And there you have it, a 7-day journey into the heart of Julian's wisdom. Remember, this isn't a checklist to be completed, but a series of invitations to expand your awareness and deepen your connection to the divine love that Julian so beautifully illuminated. Even if you miss a day or struggle with a practice, that's absolutely fine. The beauty of these revelations is their endless patience, their boundless compassion. Pick one practice that resonates most with you and carry it forward into the coming weeks. Julian's Revelations of Divine Love is not just a book to be read. It's a way of being, a lens through which we can perceive the world with greater love, peace, and unwavering trust. May these practices bring you closer to that profound sense of well-being that Julian promised to us all. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. Alright, as we wrap up our journey through the profound wisdom of Julian of Norwich, I want to distill everything we've discussed, everything that has resonated so deeply with me and, I hope, with you into 3 unforgettable core messages. Think of these not just as summaries, but as anchors you can drop in the midst of life's inevitable storms, those moments when the waves are crashing and clarity feels like a distant shore. These are the truths that Julian offers us, truths that can ground you, bring you peace, and utterly transform your perspective on yourself, on God, and on the very nature of reality. Our first key takeaway, perhaps the most foundational and utterly liberating truth from Julian, is this: unconditional love is your reality. God's love is not something you earn. It is the ground of your being. ****, in a world that often teaches us to strive, to achieve, to prove our worth to earn affection, this idea can feel revolutionary. We're conditioned to believe that love is a reward, something granted based on our performance. But Julian flips this script entirely. She reveals that this love is your fundamental state, your very essence. It's not an external force that sometimes blesses you. It's the very fabric from which you are woven. Imagine trying to earn the air you breathe. It's absurd, isn't it? These are foundational elements of your existence. Julian tells us that divine love operates in precisely the same way. It is the inescapable, ever-present ground beneath your feet, the atmosphere you constantly inhale, the warmth that permeates your deepest core. You don't have to qualify for it. You don't have to become someone different. You simply are in it, sustained by it moment by moment. It's an inherent, unbreakable connection, a divine embrace that precedes every action, every thought, every breath. This understanding doesn't just offer comfort. It radically recalibrates your entire sense of self-worth. You are loved, not because of what you do, but because of who you inherently are, a beloved creation of an endlessly loving source. That is your primary, eternal reality. This leads us directly into our second crucial insight, a powerful antidote to self-reproach. Your failures do not define you. God sees you with compassion, not blame, and uses your struggles to bring you closer. ****, how often do we allow our mistakes, our missteps, our perceived shortcomings to shrink us, to define the boundaries of our self-worth? We carry the heavy weight of regret, the sharp sting of guilt, and the pervasive fear of judgment. We imagine a divine scorekeeper, meticulously tallying our transgressions. But Julian, in her profound visions, paints a drastically different, profoundly redemptive picture. She assures us that when God looks upon us, particularly in our moments of stumbling, what God sees is not a list of offenses, but the deep, underlying intention of the soul and boundless, unwavering compassion. It's the gaze of a loving parent watching a child learning to walk, full of encouragement and understanding. Julian famously speaks of sin as a behovely thing, not because it's good in itself, but because it can serve as a surprising conduit for deeper understanding, for humility, for empathy, and ultimately, for a more profound turning back towards God's ever-present love. Our struggles, our moments of weakness are not evidence of our unworthiness. Rather, they are the very experiences through which we learn dependence, mercy, patience, and eventually, forge a more robust faith. God doesn't just grudgingly forgive our failures. God actively uses them, transforms them, weaves them into the rich tapestry of our spiritual growth, drawing us not away, but ever closer, with an unwavering, tender hand. Your past does not dictate your future in the eyes of divine love. It merely informs your journey towards deeper intimacy and a fuller understanding of grace. And finally, our third anchor, perhaps the most challenging to grasp in a world often saturated with anxiety, yet simultaneously the most profoundly hopeful: ultimate trust in goodness. Despite appearances, the universe bends towards healing. Hold on to the promise. All shall be well. Julian lived through immense suffering, devastating plague, famine, political upheaval, and profound personal loss. She knew firsthand the bewildering chaos and unbearable pain that life can inflict. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming darkness, her visions revealed an underlying, unbreakable divine order, a fundamental, unwavering goodness at the very heart of all creation. This isn't a naive optimism that blithely ignores suffering. It's a deep, spiritual conviction that transcends immediate appearances. It's the understanding that even when things seem utterly broken, when the path ahead is obscured by shadows, there is a benevolent hand guiding the larger narrative, steering everything towards ultimate healing and glorious restoration. Her most iconic and universally comforting declaration: "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well," isn't a dismissive platitude. It's a profound statement of radical trust, an affirmation of a divine promise woven into the very fabric of existence, a gentle but firm reminder of God's sovereign care. It invites us to cultivate a vision that extends far beyond our immediate struggles, to hold on to the certainty that love will ultimately triumph, that every wound will eventually be healed, every broken piece made whole again, in ways we might not yet comprehend, and in a divine timing that perfectly aligns with ultimate good. This trust is not passive. It's an active cultivation of hope, a defiant stance against despair, an anchor of peace in the stormiest of seas. It's a call to look beyond the immediate moment and lean into the ultimate trajectory of divine love for all things. So, as our shared journey through the profound and tender wisdom of Julian of Norwich gently draws to a close today, I find myself lingering, as I often do after spending time with such a magnificent spirit, on the lingering echoes of her words in my own heart. And it's precisely that lingering, that internal dialogue sparked by her revelations, that I'm so eager to open up to all of you. Which of Julian's profound insights, which of her comforting assurances, which of her truly revolutionary understandings of divine love resonated with you most deeply? Was it her unwavering, almost audacious declaration that all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well? A message that has brought solace to countless souls across centuries, including my own on many a challenging day? Or perhaps her deeply intimate and tender portrayal of the motherhood of God, an image that reimagines divine care in such a nurturing and accessible way, offering a different lens through which to perceive grace? Maybe it was the surprisingly profound metaphor of the hazelnut, small as it is, holding the entirety of creation within God's loving gaze, a simple image that encapsulates such vast theological depth and speaks volumes about our place in the universe. I truly believe that these timeless truths are not meant to be passively received, but are invitations to a deeper, more personal engagement. Your thoughts, your unique interpretations, your personal connections with Julian's wisdom, are not just comments. They are vital contributions to a living, evolving conversation. They enrich our collective understanding, offering new perspectives that I, and indeed everyone else in this growing community, might not have considered. This space, this channel, is intended to be more than just a place to watch videos. It's designed to be a quiet harbor for contemplation, a shared space for learning, and a supportive environment for finding solace and spiritual nourishment together. So please take a moment, reflect, and then I genuinely invite you to share your heart, your insights, and your personal resonance with Julian's enduring message, right there in the comments section below. Let's continue this beautiful dialogue, allowing Julian's light to guide our shared exploration. If this journey into timeless wisdom, this gentle, yet profoundly impactful exploration of unwavering faith and boundless hope, has touched your spirit in any way, if it has offered you even a quiet flicker of inspiration, a moment of profound peace, or a renewed sense of purpose, then I would be truly grateful if you would consider marking your appreciation by liking this video. That simple gesture, though it may seem small, is incredibly powerful. It acts as a gentle signal, helping this message, this precious wisdom from Julian, to reach more people who might desperately be seeking exactly what she has to offer in their own lives, perhaps in times of uncertainty or quiet longing. And beyond that, if you wish for your own path to be continually illuminated by content that genuinely nourishes the soul, that consistently invites you into deeper reflection, thoughtful engagement with spiritual texts, and a personal connection with timeless philosophy, then I warmly encourage you to subscribe to this channel. By choosing to subscribe, you're not just adding another channel to your list. You are actively becoming a part of our ever-expanding community. You're ensuring that you won't miss out on future explorations into the kinds of ideas that truly matter, the kinds of conversations that elevate our spirits, bring us comfort, and perhaps even gently challenge us to grow. It's an ongoing invitation to walk together on a path of discovery and shared understanding. And on that very note of connection and shared humanity, if, as you've listened to Julian's words in our discussion today, someone in your life has gently come to mind, a friend, a cherished family member, or perhaps even an acquaintance, someone who you sense might be navigating a particularly challenging season, someone who truly needs to hear this powerful, tender, and incredibly reassuring message of hope and unconditional divine love right now, I sincerely and wholeheartedly encourage you to share this video with them. In our often noisy and sometimes isolating world, a simple share can be an extraordinarily profound act of kindness. It's a quiet, yet deeply meaningful way of extending comfort, reassurance, and a beacon of light to another soul. Think of it as passing along a small, glowing ember of Julian's steadfast faith, a tangible reminder that we are all held, that we are all infinitely loved, and that ultimately, as Julian so beautifully assures us, all shall truly be well. It's a way to become a conduit for the very love that Julian herself experienced and shared with the world. Finally, and perhaps most importantly of all, while I sincerely hope this video has served as a meaningful introduction, a gentle reawakening, or a welcome revisiting of Julian's extraordinary work, the most enriching and transformative action you can take, the truest path to understanding, is to experience her words directly, to immerse yourself fully in the profound beauty, the quiet revolutionary spirit, and the tender, unwavering assurance contained within Julian of Norwich's very own revelations of divine love. Reading her book is an intimate conversation, a personal encounter, unmediated and direct, with one of history's most remarkable spiritual minds. It's in the quiet act of turning her pages that the real depth, the subtle nuances, and the full, comforting scope of her singular vision truly unfold, offering not just comfort but also a gentle challenge to our preconceived notions in equal, powerful measure. The texture of her prose, the rhythm of her thought, and the sheer authenticity of her mystical experience are best appreciated in their original, translated form. It's where you can truly sit with her wisdom, allowing it to penetrate beyond a summary. I have personally curated and linked what I believe to be an excellent, accessible, and deeply respectful translation of her monumental work in the description box conveniently located below this video. I wholeheartedly recommend picking up a copy, making it your own, and allowing her profound, life-affirming wisdom to speak directly to your heart and mind, in its purest, most authentic form. It's an experience, I assure you that I believe will stay with you, resonating and echoing in your heart and mind, long after this video concludes. Thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart, for joining me on this deeply personal journey today. Until our paths cross again, in another exploration of timeless truths, may you find profound peace, unwavering hope, and boundless joy in the simple, yet infinitely powerful truth of divine and enduring love.